All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out. I'm Sheriff Michael Filicetti, F-I-L-I-C-E-T-T-I. I'm going to give you an update on a graffiti case that we're handling, a racially motivated graffiti case that our agencies were handling in the town of Niagara. First, I want to let you know who's up here behind me. Lieutenant Jeff Spears from the town of Niagara Police Department, Officer Alex Wagner from the town of Niagara Police Department, Lieutenant Colin Sweeney from the New York State Police, Investigator Don Ganand from the New York State Police, Special Agent in Charge Stephen Bologna from the FBI, Brian Seaman, the Niagara County District Attorney, Susan Bjornholm, the Assistant District Attorney from the DA's office, and Lieutenant Eric Geisler from the Sheriff's office. On Monday, May 16th at approximately 7 a.m., a resident in the 4600 block of John Street called to report a criminal mischief to their fence. The town of Niagara Police responded to investigate the crime. It was discovered that a large racial statement had been painted on the fence. It said, "Kill all," followed by a racial expletive, and that was spray painted in all black letters on the homeowner's fence. It should be noted that the residence there is occupied by a black family. Town of Niagara Police were instrumental in gathering evidence and information relevant to the case during their initial investigation. The Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Bureau was contacted to assist in that investigation. For the last 5 days, our Criminal Bureau, along with the New York State Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they've worked together on this case. After much effort and good work on their part, an arrest was made today of Howard J. Murphy. He's 60 years of age, and he lives in the town of Niagara. Murphy's being held here at the Niagara County Correctional Facility pending centralized arraignment. Murphy was charged with criminal mischief in the second degree as a hate crime, basically because this crime was committed based upon the occupants of their residence, their race. With the hate crime designation, the crime was raised from a D felony to a C felony. This case is also being reviewed at a federal level to determine if any further charges are warranted. I want to add, I need to commend our Criminal Investigations Bureau, our partners from the town of Niagara Police Department, the New York State Police, and the FBI for bringing this case to such a quick closure. Within 5 days, they've closed this out, and they've held the individual accountable for what they did to this family. Right after the arrest, I did speak with the victim, the homeowner, and he was very happy that this individual was caught and he'll be brought to justice. He's very upset that this happened to his residence, but he was very thankful for the efforts of law enforcement. And certainly, we're all well aware of the incident in Buffalo, the tragic incident that happened last Saturday. Within 2 days of that, this incident took place. There's no place for hate in this community, in the Buffalo community, anywhere. And we're going to take these complaints seriously, and we're going to bring them to closure with an arrest, and we're going to hold these people accountable that want to do this. Again, there's no place for this in our community or anywhere else. So if you think this is a good idea, I would tell you to think twice, because we're going to put all of our resources together to bring this to closure with an arrest. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to our District Attorney, Brian Seaman, for a few remarks.
Thank you, Sheriff Filicetti. Brian Seaman, S-E-A-M-A-N, Niagara County District Attorney. Charge is merely an accusation, and defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty. I'd like to confirm that what Sheriff Filicetti has stated, that Howard Murphy has been charged with the crime of criminal mischief in the second degree as a hate crime. Criminal mischief in the second degree is, on its own, a Class D nonviolent felony. However, with the hate crime designation, it's raised to a Class C felony. It's not a petty charge. It is the most serious charge that we could have brought in this case, is the charge that we did bring. This is not being treated just as a property crime. It's being treated as a hate crime. Hate crimes have a special designation in our law because of the effect they have on the people they're perpetrated against. The way they affect a person's ability to live their lives and feel secure in their homes. That's why it's given the heightened designation, and that's why we're treating it that way. These messages, when this type of a message is put out through the commission of this crime, it leads to, it contributes to a atmosphere that says that we can do this type of thing. Well, we can't do this type of thing. And our police departments, our law enforcement, and my office will take these crimes extremely seriously, as we intend to take this crime very seriously. We brought the highest charge that we possibly could in this case. Unfortunately, when the defendant is brought before the cap court later today, because of New York State's bail reform laws, the judge will not have the ability to hold the defendant on bail. The judge will be required to release the defendant either on his own recognizance or with non-monetary conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm Stephen Blonja. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI field office in Buffalo, which covers all of Western New York. Thank you, Sheriff, for your remarks. And I just want to speak a little bit about the potential federal role that we're playing and that we will play in conjunction with the U.S. Attorney's Office and Department of Justice. The Buffalo FBI field office, the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, and the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of New York will review all of the available facts of this incident to determine what the federal response should be. Experienced agents and prosecutors will be assigned to review the matter for potential federal civil rights violations. If our investigation determines the suspect violated a federal hate crime statute, the FBI will coordinate our investigation with the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, which will make the final determination about a federal hate crime prosecution. The FBI recognizes the enduring threat of hate crimes, and we treat this threat among our highest priorities. Threats like these cause understandable concern and fear in the community, but especially after the horrific events in Buffalo this weekend, they amplify the existing anger, anxiety, and pain of our entire community and our entire nation. All Americans, regardless of their race, should be able to live their lives, go to the grocery store, attend worship services, and watch sporting events, all without fear. We want you to know the FBI stands with you and this community, and we are here to help however we can. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Are you concerned about the safety of the Parks family now that this individual who the Parks family tells us is their neighbor is now going to be released?
We will continue with, we've had extra checks of the residents, and an order of protection has been requested in this case. So I won't ever say that I'm not concerned, but we're taking some steps to address that.
And we've talked about how violence is not just isolated to the city of Buffalo, right? It comes up here to Niagara County. We're seeing that days after a horrific incident happened in the city. What is Niagara County doing to ensure that this community is safe, that this does not happen here?
Well, as you can see how seriously we took this threat, any threats that we're made aware of, whether it's on social media, in person, damage to property, we are putting all of our resources together to address those as they come up. Because again, this isn't going to be tolerated in Niagara County. We're going to work together to make sure that hate gets stopped in its tracks.
Brian, is the lack of specificity in what you've written, does that prevent you from bringing the terroristic threat charge?
In New York, under state law, the terroristic threats, it requires certain types of enumerated of crimes, either attempts or commission of, and at least at this point, we don't see how that charge could be brought in this case.
How will this be charged at the federal level? What's that process going to be?
I would have to turn that over to my counterpart here from the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
So we'll take all the information, gather it, look at it, share it with the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of New York. We collaborate all of these hate crime cases with the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division before an ultimate charging decision will be made. So, you know, we have some work on our end to do. I can tell you that these matters generally, and this matter in particular, are taken with the utmost seriousness within the FBI and the Department of Justice. Just 15 minutes ago, I got a call from the Deputy Director of the FBI asking me about this case, and he shared with me the concern and the interest of the Attorney General in this case. So we're taking this and all of the other cases like this very seriously. Obviously, we've had a lot of threats after the Buffalo massacre last Saturday. We're following up on each and every one of those, whether they're in our jurisdiction or other jurisdictions. We're putting all available resources to figure out who these folks are, who after such a heinous crime find it acceptable to go out and make follow-on threats and distract law enforcement from really the focus where it should be on the core case that we've been investigating since Saturday. We have plenty of resources to do that. We have our state, local, federal partners. All of us are united in pursuing those cases. So if you make threats like that, you can expect to find a law enforcement officer knocking on your door at some point.
If people have tips on this case, other information on other cases that have threats that have been made, where can they go?
So first, if you have tips related to the Buffalo shooting, it's fbi.gov/Buffalo shooting. Then there's just the general, if it's a general one not related to that case, fbi.gov, there's a portal that we can ingest all of that information, and it gets routed to the proper authorities, whether it's in this jurisdiction or somewhere else in the country. Obviously, if it's a local matter or a state matter, there are different websites you can report that. But just, you know, if you have to, just pick up the phone and call the FBI, call the sheriff's office, call the police department, and that information will get to us.
Said that he was a neighbor. How long has he lived with next door? How long have they neighbors for?
Do you know how long he's been there?
Oh, probably over 30 years.
So probably over 30 years. That's our best guess.
And they never had no problems with things?
Again, not that we're aware of. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.